Okay, I'm here. I'm here. You hear me? Okay, I'm here. Okay, I hope y'all can hear me. My bad. Had a little difficulty just now. Had a little difficulties just now. So I'm waiting for some people to tune in. You know. Okay. Okay. I want to thank everybody for, taking the time out to tune in to me tonight. Yes, I am back. I am back. I had a few days off, a lot of running around, had a lot of things to do, you know. But like I said, I thank y'all for tuning in today. I am back. Hit that like button as soon as you step in the building. Hit that subscribe button as soon as you step in the building. You know, today I got a good one for y'all. I'm gonna do something quite different today. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go to church. Yeah, I'm gonna go to church today. Not only I'm gonna go to church today, but I'm gonna go to the mosque today. We're gonna deal with the Holy Quran, which I rarely do because a lot of us wasn't schooled into the knowledge of the Holy Quran. Give me a second, everyone. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of us wasn't really versed in the Holy Quran or know the Holy Quran. Most of us, when we hear about the Holy Quran, it's 9 out of 10. It's in the prison system, because that's how most times we get introduced into the Holy Quran. So, like I said, it's going to be quite different today. We're going to church, we're going to the mosque, and we're going to deal with the synagogue. So I'm going to wait for a few people to tune in a little bit longer, Let me know you in the building. Let me know you in the building. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as soon as you step in. Thank you for tuning in to the Lethal Truth, where the truth shall set you free. And I'm talking about mentally. It can also deal on a physical aspect. Why I name this the Lethal Truth? Why I always say the truth shall set you free? Because that was Jesus saying in the Bible. The truth shall set you free. He wasn't really talking about physically. He was talking about mentally, because at that particular time, his people was mentally dead. So he came with a word. But I want to backtrack a bit, because I don't want to get into Jesus just yet. Who are the children of Israel? I know you heard that a lot of times. You seen the 10 Commandments. You hear about Israel. You hear about the children of Israel. Even today, you hear about the children of Israel. Who are they? Let's get right into it. I chose this subject because white people are mad. No, seriously, they are pissed off. And they are pissed off at you, me, and all people of color, because of what's going on in their neck of the woods. Excuse me. They are filled with white rage. You know what's so interesting is that when I be on social media, I like to read the posts by Caucasians, because when they lash out in their anger, most of the people in their comments are Caucasians, and I read their thoughts and they are mad. They are pissed off, like literally. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So I got my Bible, I got my Quran out. I got it all out today. Like I said, we're doing something different, right? So now let's start with the Bible, which is very beautiful. It is once you understand it, but I understand that when the book was put together and the Europeans stumbled upon the original Bible, they knew some of the language that they couldn't cover. They couldn't revise and give it their version. So what they did was they separated the Bible, and King James decided to write his version. But we already predicted that our Bible would be tampered with, so we made it 85% parables. To the point that the Caucasians don't even understand it. So when they tampered with it so bad that today they don't even understand it. And they say, boy, we did a good job. Because they can't even understand it. Let alone some of us cannot understand the Bible. So let's get right into it. The book of Genesis. The book of Genesis. The 5 books of Moses, as it is called. It is said it's more books of Moses. But we're talking about 5 today. Right? Now, it's very interesting in the book of Genesis because Genesis means the gene. Right? It's a gene of something. It's a gene of the beginning of something that is happening. A genetic. The Genesis. The beginning. What beginning? The beginning of something to start from that point in time. The beginning. So, in the book of Genesis, now, Moses is giving the history of the Bible. According to the book, Moses came 2000 BC. So he came at least 2,000 years before Christ. Because Christ, according to the Bible, came 4,000 BC. And the book was put together 6,000 years after. 2,000 years more after, which is a total of 6,000 years. So God is talking to Moses and giving him the knowledge. And he's like, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Damn. That's deep. Because it's showing us that there's a relationship between heaven and earth. Letting us know that earth cannot survive without heaven. And I'm not talking about a place up in the sky. Because you and I know, we don't know no one that came back from the dead that said they was up in some sky or in some clouds or in some kingdom where it's all pearly with lights and bright, whatever you want to call it. We never heard of that. But we know what heaven is a mental thing because that's what Jesus was teaching us. Heaven. The truth shall set you free. And it's very interesting that Moses is getting this word because Moses is the most talked about prophet ever in history. I wonder why. Why is Moses so important? So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the deep, letting us know that the earth was empty. But the earth was there. So how could the earth be empty if it was already there, created with the heavens? It's because it was already with form, but the life inside the earth was without form. That's very interesting. In this Bible, there's a Pentateuch that is called the book of Genesis, where, like I said, God is revealing the book to Moses. Now, as Moses is getting this knowledge, he's hearing in the book of Genesis, a man is speaking to a people. And he's saying, let us make man in our own image. Who's us making man in our image? I know it ain't God, because God don't need no help. God is the creator, right? You agree? God don't need no help. So here's a person saying, let us, he needs help now. Us make man in our own image and after our own likeness. So here's a group of men or people that is going to make a new human being on the face of the earth. And in the scriptures, he's called mankind, kind of a man, from the original man. Well, let me get some water. And God called them Adam and Eve. See, this is the Adamites. See, you have the pre-Adamites and you have the Adamites. Hey, you can look it up. They put it in the books for you to read. The pre-Adamites are the original people. So now, wait a minute. There was a lady that the Caucasians found in the Holy Land, and they gave her a name called Lucy. Technology shows that Lucy has been around for 2 million years. So if Moses is getting knowledge of 2,000 years ago, which means he has to catch up, and Jesus came 2,000 years later, and Lucy's 2 million years old, then we can agree that the Bible didn't start in the beginning of time. Because that's not what God said. God said in the beginning it was heavens and the earth. And then they made a man. About 6,000 years ago. So we know we're dealing with a new people that is being made, not created. Created is when you take nothing and make it into something. We are taking the original people to make a mankind who doesn't have form, but does have form, because the original people are the form. We are the ingredients. And Caucasians do not deny this. The wise, they actually know who are the original people. Now, this is not racist. Why am I getting into this? Because I want you to understand the architect of white supremacy. I want you to understand why they do the things they do. And I want you to understand why throughout centuries we never achieved success. So when Adam was made, the Bible teaches us that Adam was made from dust. Now, do you know any white dust? There's only dust that we know that is color. Y'all all right out there? Okay, just checking. So, now that Adam is made of dust, God is telling everyone that he's going to have dominion over the air, the fish of the sea, the land, and everything on the creeping earth. So it is written that these new people that was made from the original people is going to be given the power to rule over everything in existence. That's interesting. Now, you're not going to hear this type of talk, maybe not too many different places. Some of you may say, yo, Slug, you're going a little too long. Bear with me. We get into something. Because we already showed that Lucy is older than the Bible. Excuse me. Lucy is older than the Bible. Can we agree? And she wasn't the only one that was found. Because the original man and woman has no birth record. We been in slavery and they took a vacuum out of our mind and put what they ever wanted to put in books. And even today, they put the truth in certain books and they always tell us how old we are. How old? We have no birth record. I mean, everything has a beginning, but our beginning is not documented. So we have no birth record. We're older than the Bible. That's very interesting. Now, you see, when every time we try to raise up, or every time we try to protest, or we have some black man in authority, somebody that's white comes to undermine us. Somebody comes to conquer. And this is true. Everywhere they go, they conquer. Because they was given dominion. It is written. It is written. And it's so interesting because, see, in the Holy Quran, it says it a little bit different, right? They give you a different type of breakdown. In Surah 15, verse 34, Surah means chapter. God is talking to Iblis. This is his angel in heaven. This is a parable. And God is saying, I'm going to make a mortal. And I'm going to give him the authority. And I'm going to fashion him from black mud. And then I'm going to put my spirit into him. And then I'm going to tell all of you to bow down and serve him. Now, Iblis in English is called one of the angels. He becomes the devil. He said, I'm not going to bow down to that. Made of fire. He made of mud. Are you serious? Now, this is Iblis saying this in the kingdom. Well, when you in the kingdom of God and you don't want to obey the rules and regulations, you got to go. Because, see, Iblis felt that he was better than what God made him because he was made of fire. And this is how most Caucasians feel. They feel that they are better than people of color because they feel that their white skin is superior. See, when you start putting value on yourself to feel like you better than somebody, you become a devil. You start being judgmental because you follow a religion. Oh, I do this perfect and he smoke or he drink or he party too much. What about you? What do you do behind closed doors? Don't start pointing fingers, because when you start doing that, you start thinking you better. You start acting like a devil and you don't even know it. See how that changes things? So now, I know a lot of people would like to say that, no, that is not true. You know, God promised the children of Israel land and so forth. Or all you scholars, or all you up there that feel that you know the book, we can have this discussion. We can have an open floor, you know? So now, in the book of Genesis, Genesis 15, verse 13, Abraham, the scripture says, and he said unto Abram, at this time his name was Abram, know of surely that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall afflict them for 400 years. But I want to backtrack for a second. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's keep going. Now, you know anybody like this? I know there's a lot of so-called Jews out there that believe that it was them. But there's no record in history where you was in slavery in Egypt for 400 years. As a matter of fact, there's no record nowhere in history where anybody was in slavery in Egypt for 400 years. So this is predicted to Abraham that his seeds is going to be taken. Not escorted, taken, which means somebody's going to be taken by force without their will to a land that is not theirs and will afflict them for 400 years. Because see, this person who's doing this has dominion over the air, the fish in the sea, and every creeping thing on the land. You know people like that? Okay. And then the scripture also says, and also to that nation they shall serve, and I will judge afterwards. Shall they come out with great substance? Oh man. So here it is. God is telling us that after 400 years of this servitude, he's coming. Not a prophet. He didn't say he was sending Jesus. He didn't say Jesus was coming back after 400 years liberating anybody. He said, I will come. Hey, I didn't write it. I wasn't born. I'm only reading it to you the way it was written, in the way King James thought he was going to revise it. But surely he didn't understand the scripture, because what happened didn't happen yet. So of course he couldn't understand. Come on now, talk to me. Now, in Exodus chapter 13, verse 13, it says, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, they servants to whom thou swearest by thine own self, and saidst unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, in all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall wear it forever. So now God is blessing these people that's coming out of bondage, and they're going to be multiplying rapidly. That's interesting, because, you know, and Pat Buchanan that wrote a book said that the Caucasians was dying. But we're going to get to that. I want you to look at another verse before we start diving into a whole lot of other stuff, because I don't want to keep you too much on the scriptures, because I'm heading to something. I don't want some of you, I know you might go to sleep and say, oh no, he talking this God stuff, but I love God. I have my flaws, but I love God. I work towards God. I send my messages out. I don't look for no repayment, anything like that. Although I put my stuff up there because that's for other things. But I don't look for anything. If a person send me anything, that's cool. But we here talking. Now, I want you to understand this scripture. We're going to go to Deuteronomy real quick. Right? We're going to go to Deuteronomy. As a matter of fact, let's stay on Genesis real quick, because I want to talk about these two nations, black and white, that was created. White that was created in the book of Genesis. Because I know you still saying it can't be Abraham. No, slugger, it can't be. Oh, let's check this out. In the book of Genesis, from 25 to 21 to 23. It says, now Isaac pleaded with the Lord for his wife, because she was a barren, which means she couldn't have babies. And the Lord granted his plea, and Rebekah's wife conceived. Now, when she was pregnant, she had twins. Now listen to this. In the scriptures, it said from 21 to 23, it says that when Rebekah was pregnant, she was having twins, but she had two nations in her. You ever heard of something like that? Two nations, not one nation, two nations. And then it said she also carried two peoples. That's the scripture, keep going. Two peoples, two nations. You ever heard of any woman pregnant with two different people? Now, we're not talking about Zatima. We're talking about reality here. You ever heard of that? The scripture said that these two twins were struggling and fighting with each other in the womb. You ever heard of a woman that's pregnant and her children fighting each other in the womb, struggling with each other in the womb. No, God is sending a parable saying that Rebecca is giving birth to two nations. One will be original and one would be Adamite. Now, that's just interesting. Because now when she eventually did give birth, one came out very red and hairy. His name was Esau. And the second one name was Jacob. And when Jacob came out, he held on to the heel of Esau because he couldn't survive without Esau. You see why? Matter of fact, I'm going to keep going on because I won't want to jump into it. Because this is going into the brown germ and the black germ. Because, see, the black man and woman has two germs in them. The black germ and the brown germ. We can make dark and we can make light. You understand? So it was one that came called Yaqub, who we call in the Bible Jacob. Because Jacob was grafting sheeps and he was changing their colors. He was grafting them because he was separating the germ. Now, we're going to get into something where, hold on, let me see if I'm pull it up. Because, man, Jacob, he was a real conniving one. He was very jealous of his brother. His brother seemed like he got everything. He got all the blessings. He couldn't stand his brother. And as time went on, Esau was supposed to get blessed. And this is very, very interesting. Hold on now. Let me get to the scripture. Now. When Jacob steals Esau's blessing, oh man, there's two different nations. Because Jacob can't survive on his own. Jacob needs to feed off the original Esau in order to survive. Now I'm going to read this and it's very powerful, so bear with me because it's a little lengthy. Just bear with me. Jacob steals Esau's blessing. One day Isaac was old and turning blind, and he called Esau, his oldest son. Listen now. And said, "My son." He said, "Yes, father." He said, "I am an old man now," Isaac said, "and I don't know when I may die. Take your bow and quiver full of arrows and go out into the open country and hunt for some wild game for me. Prepare my favorite dish and bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessings that belong to you, my firstborn son, before I die." But Rebecca, overheard what Isaac had said to his son Esau. So Esau left to go for the hunt for wild game, and she said to her son Jacob, "Listen, I overheard your father say to Esau, bring some wild game and prepare me a delicious meal, and then I will bless you in the Lord's presence before I die. Now, my son, listen to me. Do exactly as I tell you. Go out to the flocks and bring me 2 of the fine young goats. I will use them to prepare your father's dish, his favorite dish. Then take the food to your father so he can eat it and bless you before he die." "But look," Jacob replied to Rebekah, "my brother Esau is a hairy man. His skin is different." He's saying he can't emulate it. He said, "Esau's a hairy man, and my skin is smooth." See, showing the difference of the creation. "What if my father touches me? He'll see that I'm trying to trick him, and then he'll curse me instead of blessing me." But his mother replied, "Then let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do what I tell you. Go out and get the goats for me." So Jacob went out and got the young goats for his mother. Rebekah took them and prepared a delicious meal just the way Isaac liked it. Conniving woman, eh? just like the way he liked it. Then she took Esau's favorite clothes. Look at this now, emulating him, which were there in the house, and gave them to her younger son Jacob. She covered him in his arms and she covered his arms and smooth part of his neck with the skin of the goats. Then he gave it to Jacob. Then gave Jacob the delicious meal, including the freshly baked bread. So Jacob took the food to his father. Yes, my son, Isaac answered. Where are you, Esau or Jacob? Jacob replied, it's Esau, your firstborn son. I've done as you told me. Here's the wild game. Now sit up and eat it so you can give me your blessings. He's hurrying him up now. Isaac asked, how did you find it so quickly, my son? See, how you come back so quick, man? I just sent you out there to go get the game. Son, but he's blind. He can't see. You ever heard of deaf, dumb, and blind? In this case, he can't see. He's being tricked. He's being deceived by a different nation that came out of Rebecca. Listen now. Then Isaac said to Jacob, come closer. No, excuse me. He said, excuse me, Isaac asked, how did you find me so quickly, my son? The Lord the Lord your God put it in my path, Jacob replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, come closer so I can touch you and make sure that you're really Esau. Because see now Isaac already know the half. He's like, hold on, I ain't trusting Jacob because I know Jacob is not God's chosen people. I know Jacob is a different type of fella. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. He's a conniving, manipulative one. So I got to be on point because I can't see. Sounds familiar to you? So Jacob went closer to his father and Isaac touched him. The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau, Isaac said. But he did not recognize Jacob because Jacob's hands felt hairy just like Esau. So Isaac prepared to bless Jacob, but are you really my son Esau? Yes, I am, Jacob replied, deceiving him. Then Isaac said, now, my son, bring me the wild game. Let me eat it, and then I will give you my blessing. So Jacob took the food to his father, and Isaac ate it, and also drank wine, and Jacob served him. Then Isaac said to Jacob, please come a little closer and kiss me, my son. So Jacob went over and kissed him, and when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he was finally convinced because Rebekah gave him his brother's clothes. He was finally convinced, and he blessed his son, Jacob. He said, the smell of my son is the smell of my outdoors, which is the Lord has blessed. Now, I'm going to fast forward. Now, after Esau came back, he said, yo, God, yo, what's up, man? He said, hey, what's up, stranger? Isaac. I'm saying stranger is a slang, excuse me. He said, what's up, Isaac? I'm here. I got your food. I got your goat. I got everything for you. He said, what you talking about? I already blessed you. He said, what you mean? I just came back. He said, he realized he was full. He said, I'm sorry, but I gave all my blessings from the Lord and I passed it down to Jacob. I have no more to give you. See, this is explaining that how the Caucasians stole your birthright. They took everything. See, this is why FBA is so mad. This is why FBA is on a rant right now, because they feel that everything the Caucasian has taken from them. Everything. You're talking about the lights, the shoes, cars. We created everything in existence. Everything. And this man came and stole our birthright. Ain't that something? Hold on now. Yeah. Ain't that something? How he just steal our birthright just like that? And like I said, and this is why the FBA is so upset. Now, a lot of you out there who probably are Caucasians that hear this, you probably will say that is not true. We ain't steal nothing. Oh, yeah? We'll make everything again. Let's see you try it. You won't let us go. You keep holding on to how heal. You won't let us go. You cannot live without us. Every negative has to be subjected and controlled by the positive. You have the positive and the negative. One cannot live without the other. The original man is the positive, and the negative part is the Caucasian, because you was made fear. The scripture said that Adam and Eve was made fear. Well, how fear getting there? Explain it to me. Stole our birthright. When you look on TV and you see Jesus, who do you see? You see us? You see them. When you see 10 Commandments, who do you see? You see us? No, you see them. They stole our birthright. They stole our blessings. But they was given power and dominion over the fish in the air and every creeping thing on the land. So they are destined to rule. Ain't that interesting? What's up here for the knowledge? Peace. Kind of light today. Oh, okay, kind of light today. You know, hey, it is what it is, because I'm here talking about something that is very important. So now, as time go on, Jacob name changes. Jacob name become Israel. Ain't this something? Ain't this something? Who are the children of Israel? See, you always thought it was a black thing. You always thought because we was in bondage and the children, you always hear the children of Israel. Yeah, you always hear children of Israel, but you always hear the Israelites. Now, the Israelites are the chosen people. I'm not going to lie about that, but we'll get into that, because a lot of us came through the transatlantic slave trade, and we were separated. Some of us later on became Christians. Some became Muslims. Some became Buddhists. So just because you pick up the religion of a Hebrew Israelite, it doesn't mean you are the chosen one. I'm just putting that out there. But you are the original man. So you are very important, because God had different armies, like Satan has different armies. So you have the Navy, you have the Marines, you have the Army, so you have Islam, you have Christianity. Man, I'm not just talking about any Christianity now, because they done took control of that, right? Because that's not even mentioned in the Bible. You don't hear nothing about Christians. You hear about Jesus being a Jew, but you don't hear about no Christians. You hear about Christianity in the Holy Quran. You hear about that later when they came, and they was going to war with the Christians. And I'm talking about European Christians. Y'all all right out there? Let me get some water, because my man. Give me a second. So now, as you can see, that we are made totally different from this man. Just from the description, they're fair. They're pale. And this man named Jacob, as I told you, we were taught that this man called Yaakov is Jacob. And they are the children of Jacob, the children of Yaakov, who saw in the future and inside of us that there were two germs. And he saw this at 6 years old. He became a scientist. Whether you believe it or not, that's entirely up to you. But I have not heard a Caucasian scholar denounce this or deny this. And he wanted to make a new people. And we didn't want him to make a new people in the Holy Land. So he had to take all of his followers and go to the Caucasus Mountain region, where he knew the science of the cold climate. And he had a birth control law, just like you have one today. And they only had to mix with the lighter version of us in order to push the darker version out. And this was his law. This law took 600 years to make a good, successful process. So eventually, that law took effect, and every time we made it, we always made it with the lighter ones. You see why the lighter ones today always feel like they're better than the darker ones? Huh? They all feel like they're better because they're light skinned. They don't want to tangle with the dark skin. Even the darker ones over here act like the light-skinned ones when they see our brothers and sisters from Africa. Look at their feet. They look so crusty and black. They don't look like us. We look better. Look at this mentality. This is the Yaqub mentality. We don't even feel like we're brothers to our own people that came from over there. You forgot our ancestors looked like that. Even chocolate and more darker. But today, you got a little fair skin and you feel like you're better. To the point now, you don't even want to look black. You want to go and get surgery. You want to make your nose more thinner. You want to make your cheekbones more, broader. You want to start looking like Vivica Fox. No shots to her. I'm using that as an example because recently I just heard about her BBL looking real bad and failing. So I just kind of used that for example. But not just her. You have Serena Williams. You had a lot of them that don't like their skin color. Serena Williams, when she came onto the league, she was black. Nose was big, cheekbones was so thick and wide. Now I can't even tell her sister. I can't tell who she is. So now, Yaqub birth law took effect. He didn't live to see it, but his followers kept it going, and eventually, we sent one of our prophets, Moses, who we call Musa, to go to the Caucasus Mountain region and civilize them. And it was hard. It was hard. And my lessons have said he had to make a ring of fire to sleep at night because they were cannibals. Don't they eat their steak medium rare? Don't they eat a lot of foods raw? You don't believe me. See, you know what it is? A lot of us do not know Caucasian history or culture. We just know about ours. You don't believe? How many of you know about Asian culture? I rest my case. How many of you really know about white culture? You don't. Most of us only know about the oppression, and we call that white history. No, they have a different culture and history. Listen to this. Hold on. I'm going to pull something up for you. I want you to hear this. I'm getting back to where I'm getting to, but I want you to hear something from them, from their own mouth. I want you to hear their culture and the difference of it, and you're going to see where I'm getting to. Okay? All right. We're getting to it. Here you go. Here we go. Okay.
I think disgusting. Am I scrubbing my body with a washcloth?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I know. I think we're.
That is like a UTI waiting to happen.
I think we're in the minority. I really do. No, I think we are.
People use washcloths?
I think so.
I'm not black. I'm not gonna go wash my legs and feet.
You think that's just a black people thing?
Clearly.
My ass, so I do get yeast infections more often than most people. I stopped wiping my ass back in 2020 when COVID happened.
What?
I don't wash my hands. Oh, I was gonna say that too. I don't care. I'm done. I'm done hiding it. Oh, why do girls have to wash it? We don't touch nothing.
We don't even touch nothing.
I get when you take a shit. Wash, like if I'm in a public restroom and there's people in the stalls, I will even after I pee go to the sink, wash the water, like pretend run the water, pretend I'm washing my hands.
Do you wash your legs in the shower? No.
No.
I do it if I have like plans. Legs, bro, I wash my whole body.
Yes, and yes.
That's black people.
You have to, yeah.
Black man.
Your legs specific.
Because I find in the white English culture, people say there's no need.
They don't wash their legs?
No.
Don't even
Hold on now. Hold on. Hold on. Now you hear that? They don't wash their hands. They don't wash their feet. Who do not wash their feet? You have to rub and scrub your feet. Your feet is sweaty in socks and sneakers all day. They don't use washcloths because they said it's bacteria. They say it's bacteria. Because when you let the wash rag hang up in the bathroom, the air, there's bacteria in the air and it hits the washcloth. But when you get into the shower, don't you use the soap on the washcloth? So the cloth is clean. They don't use it. So what do they use to wash their bodies with? You see why Musa had to go to the caves? Because in the caves, they don't take a shower. They don't take a shower every day. This is not racism. You're hearing it firsthand by them. So you're hearing it first by hand. They're telling you. So you can't say, Slugger, you being racist. I'm showing and proving to you that they have a different culture. This is why Musa had to go over there, because they didn't know how to bury their dead. They didn't know how to really live. They ate raw what they killed. They didn't know no such things of eating because they went to sleep after they were taught this birth law. So they lived in their caves. Okay, I want you to keep listening.
Yes. Why?
Okay, that's it.
No, what are you doing? What? I didn't use that. I didn't use that either.
You talking about soap.
What?
What did you use?
The water.
You didn't use any soap.
I used the water.
How did you wash your ass?
With water.
With water.
I'm Miller to 6, and here are just a few things we do in our home to make our life a little bit more manageable. Bath and shower days are Sunday and Wednesday. You can need a bath in between them.
What?
Absolutely, but otherwise, that's good enough.
I was just informed that there are people who use washcloths in the shower. As a grown adult, are you serious? This can't be real. You're telling me that you are going to use a bacteria-infested cloth rather than just using your hands? Your hands are free, bro. The only valid tool/scrubber that you should be using in the shower, you could use a bar soap. It's literally more expensive to use a washcloth than not. So
Dog got his whole mouth in this white man's mouth. What? Exactly. What is going on? Now you hear this. The young lady said, we do not take a shower every day. We schedule our shower. This is white culture. This is not racism. They're different from you. You have to take a shower every day. Because we're original. We have a very strong body odor. So we have to do that. Their chemicals of deodorant does not last. I don't know about you, but mine's be gone within 24 hours. I got to go wash my underarms or I just jump in the shower. They don't do that. They don't put none of that on. You see why? When it comes to animals, like I just said, they had this white man, they had the dog in whole mouth in this white man's mouth. Because in the Holy Quran, they said the dog is the caveman's best friend. I kid you not. That's what it says in the Holy Quran. Talking about them. Because the Quran says they are the blue-eyed people in the caves. This is why most white people, they have dogs. They love them. They sleep in the bed with them. They eat at the dinner table with them. Sometimes they eat the food and take a scoop out with the same spoon that they're using and give some to the dog. Yes, that's their best friend. That's what they call a man's best friend. We just adapted to it because we just like the. But no, that's their thing. Now listen, why don't you continue to listen a little bit more?
What is going on?
What kind of psychopath washes your feet?
What?
Travis, don't act like you
I'm
wash
not
your
washing my feet every time, but after like a football practice, like at St. Joe, where my feet have just been like, yes, I wash my feet.
You're not washing. No,
Yes, I
you're
am.
like everybody else. Who, when you look down, if there's visible dirt on them, I'll scrub the dirt off. I don't even touch my feet. Why the fuck would I wash my feet? I'm not touching my feet unless I'm clipping my toenails. That's the only time I touch my feet.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll do it after training camp practices. I've dealt with some like blisters and shit to where I gotta wash my feet now.
How often to shower per week?
Yes. How many times do you think you should shower per week, according to dermatologists?
I don't care what they say. I'm going to say, hey.
That's a black man every day.
2-3 times per week. There are 7 days. Yes, there are 7 days in the week. Now, the consensus is 2 to 3 times per week, but it does depend on the person. I'm looking at Al's face, like, what is this?
This is Al Roker from the news. His face is crazy. young lady's eating a bowl of cereal and she's sharing it with her dog with a fork. They're at the kitchen table. Yeah, man, it's fun. It's whack.
How often do you wash your sheets and towels?
I like never wash my towels.
Oh my God.
Say never, I mean like once a month or say never. Because when I was
Are
younger,
you
it was like
using
never.
how many times do you use the same towel?
The whole time. I only have 2 towels. Yeah, and I use those for the month.
What's going on? You are going to jail! Damn it!
Borrowing a bar of someone's soap that's been in their bum.
In there.
Like,
how are you guys
no,
using
but it's
soap
like
in your house?
being in and around your bum and your nethers.
Oh,
you know,
around.
I
I don't know about in.
But like when you're soaping yourself up,
Yeah.
do you, Ryan?
You lather up your hands and then use your hands.
What?
How are you using soap?
Is that actually how you use a bar of soap?
Is that how you know it? You use soap
I've been
in your
taking
house.
the bar into the areas that it needs to go. Are you supposed to just like flap it up in your hands and then scrub like this?
Wash your feet while you're in the shower. So wash them.
Oh, no.
This is an ongoing debate. We still don't even have our votes in for this one because people are still
Okay,
here's the thing.
So bending over to wash your feet?
Yes.
Okay, I just feel like everything's rolling on down that way anyway.
I mean,
You're getting clean.
I agree.
So y'all are on here sharing deodorant, sharing razors, sharing loofahs, and sharing toothbrushes, and sharing that information willingly. I made a video a couple of weeks ago that said that hygiene was cultural, and while there was a slew of arguments for or against that hypothesis, this week I've been minding my business on the internet, and there's been a certain subset of people that have been coming online and telling us they don't wash it.
I'm in the shower last night, and my husband comes in to get ready for work, and he's like, I can't find my deodorant. I'm like, our son used it. I bet he took it. Like, why can't he just have his own? And I was like, why would he have his own? I'm not paying for a whole nother stick of deodorant. He's like, you know that's gross, right? And I was like, no, it's not. I said, like, no, we need to get our own. I was like, I'm not buying 5 to 8 sticks of deodorant every month. I'm not spending $60 to $80 on deodorant just so everybody can have their own stick. And
I made the conscious decision to stop washing my hands. I think when I was in college, because one of my good friends from college also doesn't wash her hands, and it was like, oh, we had that bonding experience. I don't really trust people that wash their hands because, well, one, I don't think it does anything to actually wash. It doesn't do anything to actually wash. Give me a minute.
When you shower, what's the first thing you wash?
Okay, I definitely go hair first.
Do you wash your hair every time?
Yeah.
With shampoo?
Well, I only take like one shower every 6 days, so.
Oh my God. You hear? She takes a shower once every 6 days. This is the caveman mentality that I'm talking about in the Caucasus Mountains. This is how their culture is. This is how they live. They don't talk about it to you because they really don't deal with us like that. Most of them deal with us, to be honest, it's because they have no choice because we're there. And I want to say this too, when it comes to the oppression and it comes to white supremacy, those that have that knowledge, they are called the 10%. These are the rich who organized the colonies, control the colonies, and created white supremacy to the point where that you have no choice to be racist just by their teaching. I know, I'm very serious. If it was a lady named Jane Elliott, and she said it, if you're white and you're not racist, I'm surprised. But we're going to get to that. But see, this is why Musa had to come over there and civilize them. How can people that live in the caves come to such success like this today? You have to be taught this. That's what Musa did. He went up into the hills of Secaucus Mountain and he civilized. It was a hard, trying job with these people, but he did it and kept them in bondage. But successfully, after Musa passed, they made it back into the Holy Land because he brought them there. And we're taught when they got to the Holy Land, they turned the Holy Land upside down because they were taught tricks. Remember what, Rebecca? Tricks. And they are the most trickiest persons in the world. When you look on TV and you want to see the magicians, who are the number one magicians of the world? Do you see yourself on TV? No. As a matter of fact, you barely even see yourself in that equation on TV. We always see them. They're the master of magic. They're the master of technology. That's just them. They can't help it. They were made this way. This is why I'm talking about this, because a lot of people always say, yo, they racist, they this, they that. They're taught that. This is how they are. This is how their nature is. They were made to do this. It was written in the book of Genesis for them to have dominion and rule until God said in Genesis, then I will come. So they have to do this. They have to populate the world. If they don't, then we will overcome just by in numbers. Just by having sex with them, we kill a seed and knock it out of existence. We kill them just in the bedroom. This is why the wise never wanted them to become intimate with us. Only during slavery, because we had to build for them, because they didn't have the knowledge to build a world for themselves. But they know we had the ingredients. They knew we had the energy to be in slavery. Do you know cotton, why I call it also cotton picking, wait a cotton picking minute? Because cotton at that time is what oil is today. I'm going to say that again. Cotton back then is what oil is today. And Mississippi was the capital of it. Man, they moved so much cotton, it built the whole country. That's why they couldn't let us go. They had to keep their hand on our heels, because if they let it go, they will fall. And again, this is why I say the FBA, they're so adamant out there trying to let black people know what we created. They create nothing. Nothing. They didn't even create slavery. We created that, but our slavery was different. If you was in a prison of war, you was held in bondage because you was an enemy. And you worked to get out of slavery. If I died, you can be free, or you can marry my wife and have everything that I have. That was our sense of freedom. This was called chattel slavery. We didn't create that. That was pure evil. That's not us. That is not us. And they don't like this type of talk. Because when they hear this type of talk, they say, oh, you racist. Why? Because I'm telling the truth? Hey, you left it in the book. And then someone wise came to explain it to me, and I read it, and I did research, and I understand. I clearly understand. You know, it's interesting that I'm talking about the Bible and Jesus, right? Let me tell you how they move to when you talking like this. Because see, when Jesus came, he came with a different theology. He came to his people because he knew that they were Jews that say they were Jews, but they wasn't Jews. You see, they took the birthright. Again, you see how that go? They take the birthright. And they called themselves Jews. And they knew through their scholars that one was supposed to come to uplift them. So they wanted to kill all the male babies. And this is why Mary had to go into hiding. Because she knew the type of child that she had. She knew that they was coming to kill her child. So her and Joseph left. A lot of people will think, yes, that was God's child. Really? Why nobody pay attention to Joseph? Do you know that according to the Bible, Joseph is a direct descendant of Abraham and every last prophet in the Bible? Go ahead, check out Matthew, who begot who. And when the last name you will see who begot, you will see the name Joseph. So why is Joseph not talked about? Because Joseph is very important. And they both ran to Egypt, where he got a different theology. After he was born in Bethlehem, which is called Iraq now. Yeah, Iraq, not Europe. Go ahead, check it out. It's in the book. It tells you Bethlehem. They'll tell you what Bethlehem is today, if you look it up. And he went to Egypt and he studied for 33 years in Africa with the original people, because we know Jesus is the original man because it's the texture of his hair. Come on now. The color of his eyes, the color of his feet. You know anybody in Europe that look like that? I don't know anybody like that. So when he came back with a different theology. They was more caught up with the rituals of practicing the Sabbath and doing this with the Pharisees, but they was lying and stealing. And they was working with Rome, who was oppressing the Jews, the Israelites. So Jesus came with a theology to say, listen, that old theology, that's poison. I got a new one. And when he was started healing the blind and making the making those that didn't speak, and making those that didn't hear, they joyed for him. Not no magic. We talking about mental stuff. They joyed for him. You see, that it's always like that in the beginning when you got a leader and he's liberating you. It's okay. It's cool. I'm down with Malcolm. I'm down with Allah. I'm down with this. But as soon as Satan comes, it's like, oh shit. He's coming. And then you got Jesus changing the theology, saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. They didn't like that. They wanted to crucify him. Even when he went to the church, it said he turned over the tables and chased the money changers out of the synagogue. The money changers are bankers. You know, the ones that always preach and want to put the collection plate out. He chased them out because all they wanted was money from the people. And at that moment, it said they seek to kill Jesus. And that's how Judas got involved. They want you to focus on Judas and not them. You know, Jesus had an argument with them. This black man. Now listen to this argument. Jesus said he didn't like what they were doing. And he said, you're not following my Father. And they said, who are you to say we are not of thy Father? We are of thy Father. You are not of thy Father. He said, if you was of thy Father, you wouldn't seek to kill me. He said, how dare you? You were born out of fornication. Now look at this. Now they brought up Jesus' birthright. You see how they do? They bring up propaganda when you're doing too good. Now they called his mother a whore. Because they said Mary had a baby out of wedlock. See, even they believe there's no such thing as somebody waking up and saying, you're pregnant. The scripture said when Mary was getting pregnant, they said the Spirit came upon her. Slash it, upon her. That's a human being. Okay? God don't break his law. His law is man and woman mate and they have babies. Didn't it start that with Adam and Eve? Okay then. So Mary had to make up a story and say, hey, listen, the Spirit gave birth. I gave birth to the Spirit of God. God laid with me. And everybody ran with the magic stuff. Because, you know, they was big on witchcraft back then. And it was a death sentence. Adultery? Oh, man, that was harsh. It brought up his birthright. He said, we not born of fornication. No, your mother wasn't no man. You're a bastard. Jesus said, well, if you follow the Father that I follow, again, you wouldn't seek to kill me. But you don't follow my Father. You follow your Father, the devil. Oh. So now we got two fathers. Come on now. Y'all all right out there? Just checking, making sure y'all all right out there. You know? And this is what they do. So they went to crucify Jesus. They went to crucify him. You know? They did this like the FBI. They go get one of the Negroes who is jealous of the leader because the leader's getting all the props and all the women is following him. You know? And he wants to be like Jesus. So they find the weakest link and they find Judas. And they said, come here, nigga. We gonna make you the man. We got money, we got the churches, the synagogues. We gonna make you Jesus. And he couldn't wait to betray Jesus. But the betrayal started with his own people first. Because eventually they started to turn their backs on Jesus. Because see, if Jesus came back today, that same thing would happen. Jesus will come back and say, listen, you're not supposed to eat pork. Y'all already start talking about your grandmother that lived 90 years old. It's all good. You start justifying your sins. Jesus said you got to practice the Sabbath. Oh, man, see, he on some other stuff. Now he wants us to go to the synagogue and he wants us to fast and he wants us to do this. Like we was partying, we was all good. See, everybody could talk Jesus through a book and do what they do. But if he actually came back, they would crucify him. Like they turned their back on King. Like they turned their back on Malcolm. Like they turned their back on Marcus Garvey. Like they turned their back on Noble Jew Ali. But now these people are off the scene. It's cool to be in a religion now. Now you safe. So Judas betrayed Jesus. And Rome came after him. And if you read the book, Rome wasn't even thinking about no damn Jesus. It was like, man, they got this dude out there preaching this crazy stuff in Jerusalem. Man, leave him alone. He ain't bothering us. But the rabbis, who were the house niggas for the government, sounds familiar? Whispered in their ear, listen, he gonna mess up the whole scene. You need to get him. Now, meanwhile, you got Barnabas running around killing all the Roman soldiers trying to overthrow Rome, which he can't, but he's trying. But they finally caught him. Listen to this. When they caught them, the governor sent them to Caesar. They wanted Barnabas, but they said, we're going to make a choice. As a matter of fact, first Caesar sent them back to the governor because Caesar said, man, this dude Jesus ain't bothering me. I don't care what he doing. But the rabbis was on him hard. Nah, you got to get this nigga out of here. So they asked the Jews, they said, listen, what do you want? Which one of y'all want? You want Barnabas or you want Jesus? They said, give us the murderer. You can keep Jesus. This is the king. Kings y'all call. The Jews betrayed him. Not just Judas. The children of Israel betrayed him. And Israel is a name, not a place. Talk back to me. So I don't know what the hell that is over there in Palestine. That's the made up stuff. But see, they take the birthright. They change their skin. They change the language. They change the Torah. And they put it in their own version. They stole the birthright. They took God's blessing. Now they want to portray like they're the chosen one. No, you're not. But you're definitely the children of Israel. So now, Jesus now, of course, he's off the scene. Hold on. Of course, Jesus off the scene. They got rid of him. And everything went to hell again. Everything went to hell again. But now look. Oh, sure. Hold on. Okay, because I don't want to put him on yet. That's the brother Marcus Garvey. But I want you to listen to Sister Jane Elliott. Right? Because, see, when slavery started, the wise, like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all the 33-degree Masons that we taught to rule us, they knew the teachings. They knew. Yeah, we taught them because it's written. See, the earth is a little over 24,000 miles of circumference. And we write our history every 25,000 years ahead, and we walk into it. That's why I said it was already written. That's a whole nother topic. I could get into it another time, but it's going to take me somewhere else, because that's dealing with high science. I'm talking about scientists now. Not no lab rats and lab people in the lab coats and no building. I'm talking about people that deals with prophecy. They structure this. And you may say 25,000 years? Nah, you can't do it. Why not? Obviously, they did it. They was doing it 4,000 years before Christ. Check that out. How many years is that? See that? And they walked in their prophecy without help, because we had to, because it was written, because we was already disobedient our own selves in the homeland. So God brought us an enemy to teach us a lesson. But see, Jacob is not a devil. He's not evil. He was just doing God's work because it was written for him to do. That's why the scientists, they never killed him. They know who he was. They know who he was. The Caucasians know who he is. You ever heard them deny Jacob? I'll wait. Never. So now when they had to build this country, after all the wars that they created in Europe, because it was a bloodshed. Like, we had black people over there, but not like in Africa. So they were just killing one another. They needed a new place because it was getting too out of hand. So when it came over to the Americas, it was time to colonize. It's time to colonize. And they begin white supremacy because they didn't have a color. I said, damn, we got to figure something out. Shoot. Because see, at those times, we named ourselves after our nations or after our country. I'm a Scotland. I'm a Roman. And you can tell the difference by our armor. Or, their armor. But in Americas, it's a whole different world. We got to come up with something. Shit, what we going to come up with? We ain't got no damn color. These people over here got things in order. We got to make ourselves white. We got to give ourselves a color. That's why you don't hear the term white until you pick up European history in the Americas. You don't hear that when you start reading history on England. You hear the name of their kingdom. England, or the Roman soldiers, or Spartan Greece, and all of that. Leonidas. Well, I'm going to talk about that one day. So when they're over here now, the 10%, the bloodsuckers of the poor, they conceal the truth, the hidden truth. These are also the 33-degree Masons. These are the Masons the Muslim Shriners, which is the 33-degree Masons, and Freemasons. And most of them come from all these fraternities and sororities that y'all deal with now. Or they control that, not you. Because they control the boulets who control you. You understand? You see why you can't get nowhere in life as a people? It's already written. They got everything under control. So they had to vacuum everything out of our mind in order to rule. That's why they were so hard of not letting you read no Bible in slavery. You see it on TV. Every time you get ready to preach to the people, the slave master sit right there and watch you. They know what's in the book. You just don't know. They don't know if you feel some sort of energy and power and you cause an uprising. They just can't take the chance. Because Jesus said in the book of John, did I not say, ye are God's children of the Most High God. So here it is. He's given us a title as God. God by nature. But we are the God of the Most High God. You only want to be gods. You want to be whatever you call yourself in the streets. You want to be down with whatever you want to be down in the streets. God is a high title, man. But you got to show and prove it. And you got to act it. And it's very hard because we come from a condition of being niggas. We was made in the image of our enemy. talk back to me. So they took control of their education and the education of their children, and it made them feel superior because they already took our birthright. So everything that they touched, they took and they put their face on it, and they say, we made this, we made that, we made that. And we look at ourselves and we look and we ain't make nothing. Because they stole our birthright. Now listen to Jane Elliott when she talks about this. Listen to this.
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America.
And she's white.
If you aren't a racist, you're American. Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, done all the discovering, have made all, and everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority. The myth of race has to be maintained at all costs.
At all costs.
If white people have to give up the color of their skin as being something that makes them perfect, what do they have left? If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, it will totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom. It will have to. Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living. But we celebrate that every October. It's a lie. We need to get over it. We need to stop telling the myths and start telling the truth.
There you go. Now that's from Jane. White supremacy. That's how they feel. And it's interesting because I live around, in my neighborhood, I live around white people, right? And they show that they feel like they have the authority to do something. I mentioned this one time on my show. I didn't really want to walk my dog one day. I was kind of like tired. And so I went up to the roof. And the roof, it's like you can hang out there. It's tables and stuff out there. So I brought the dog bags and everything. And at this time, I had a Chorky, which is a Yorkie mixed with a Chihuahua, right? He's in both breeds is aggressive. So this dog, he acts like a pit bull. I swear to God. And he's so small. So I'm on the roof. I got him off the leash. And I got my Shih Tzu with me. The white lady, she knocks on the door. And she said, hey, I'm coming in. I say, listen, I'm up here with 2 dogs already. My dog is a little vicious. Don't come. No, please don't do that. She said, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. How you going to tell me it's okay? I'm telling you my dog is vicious. She's telling me, no, that's okay. So she's telling me I got authority over you, and I'm going to do what the hell you want, Nick. What the hell I want, nigga. Because that's how they feel. They feel they have the authority to do what they do. And even if they want to work with you, they always find it a way, again, like I said, to undermine you. And this is why white folks is so upset right now. Because the 400 years is up and God is on the scene. Everything that they're touching right now is dying. Their money is dying. Didn't I read from the scriptures that God said you will multiply like the stars? Do you see why Trump is doing what he's doing? He's trying to get every person of color that came over here back to their countries because they're taking up all the jobs. They're taking up all the work. And white folks is mad because they can't work. Because now the people that's coming over here, they don't care about working next to nothing as long as they get money and feed their children. White people over here are spoiled. They want things their way because they always had it their way. But it's not happening like that anymore. They're losing their jobs. Their money is dying. Their food is being poisoned. Every time you turn around, the food is no good. They have zero population growth. One born, one dies. On top of that, I just seen it today, they have 60% of abortion rates. 60%. That's a lot of people. You know why? Because unlike them, us, we'll have a child and figure it out. We be teenagers, still in school, broke as hell, yet making a baby, and don't even sit there to figure out how we're going to take care. But you know what? We do it. Because we're always been survivors. But not them. They schedule their birth. Listen, I want to have my job. I want to have my career. I want to make over $100,000 first. I want to have a house. I want to have this. By the time they have their first child, they're in their 40s. Or they're doing some IVF. So they're killing their babies. And God is making it hard for them to survive. Making it hard. I want you to hear this, right? And this is really, I want you to really hear how they're falling. And this is why Trump is doing what he's doing. This is why Elon Musk is doing what. These are the 10%. These are the rich. The Rothschilds and the DuPonts and the Rockefellers, all of these billionaires. When you saw, let me get some water. When you saw Trump get inaugurated and he gave his speech, all you saw was billionaires there. The Democrats and the Republicans are mad because the 10% feel like we have to take control again. He made a whole new party. No, we don't want none of you. You're weak and you're bums. We are the rich. We dictate to you, and obviously you ain't listening, so we're going to just take everything over. And that's what he did. You ever heard of another president running for a second term and making it and stealing the election? And he said it on TV. Thank you for Elon Musk. He's good with technology. And over there in I think he said it was Pennsylvania. No, I think it was Virginia. I'm not sure what state. I forgot. But he said he has control of the technology over there. And he made sure that I won. That's what he said. It was the language. He made sure I won. That's what he said. Well, how the hell you can make sure of that? He's not even a citizen. He's not even a citizen in America. So how he has control of the votes? Talk back to me. It's because he took it. And they took over. Make America great again. And you say, black people, they say, America was never great. Yeah, for you it wasn't. For them, sure. Man, it was smooth sailing for them. Could you imagine never working a day in your life and you got everybody doing something for you for free? You ain't washing no clothes, you ain't cooking no dinner, you could get sex whenever you want from any woman on your plantation and nobody can call rape. Man, they had a high life. Not anymore. You're losing it now. You're losing it, buddy. And this is why he tried to round up all those he could find, like Yaqub, and like we did Yaqub in the Holy Land, and run them across the hot Arabian desert, which is called the burning sands, that you utilize in your fraternities and sororities. Sounds familiar? So he got them running across the burning sands to their country and trying to get them out because we're outpopulating them. Now listen to this, white woman. Look at the repercussions of everything that I'm telling you. Look how God got them right now. I want you to hear this. This is very interesting.
For this, because I've reached the part in this whole class consciousness part where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage.
Rage.
I'm talking that white hot, I need to sink my teeth into something and scream kind of rage. Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? What do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't their entire paycheck? What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet. And I'm penny pinching every single second. And like, there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and like work and no social support net. And you mean to tell me that it didn't have to be like this? They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. Like, I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, like, no safety net. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom. My mom was disabled, and she lived on credit, and, like, she barely made ends meet, and she did everything she was supposed to. And I did everything I was supposed to. And it just keeps getting worse. It was never supposed to be like this. And I'm so angry that it is. Because what do you mean? I've spent so much of my life working so hard to scrape by. And it never had to be like that. My suffering was at the expense of someone else becoming wealthy because they could. And I am so angry about this. It can't stay like this. It doesn't have to stay like this.
The amount of white people, since we've all gone to Red Note and have made Chinese friends, the amount of white people who are coming back to this app and saying that we're being scammed and, oh my goodness, that we shouldn't be living like this in America. Oh my God. You had to get on a Chinese app to learn that life isn't meant to be hard. And the way that we live life in these United States is difficult as hell because that's by design. These are all manufactured problems. Y'all had to get on an app made by the Chinese to learn that. But when black people were trying to tell y'all this...
Yeah, there you go. When black people were trying to tell y'all this, we try to tell them, but they didn't want to listen because you know why? They was comfortable living the life that they was living. They were comfortable. It was no problem. You see what I'm saying? It was good as long as they weren't being oppressed. To them, our oppression is their way of life. And they're cool with it. This is why they always say you can tell a white person if they're really racist if you sit down and you discuss something like this with them because they know it will take the benefits away from them. They don't want to share that. They want it all to themselves. They don't want black problems. We cool with it, guy. When they crying, we like, hey, we been there. we been there. You know what I mean? We do our little tears. I'm not gonna lie, but we keep it striving. We don't ask. We just keep it moving. Well, no, let me correct that. I won't say ask. Some of us do beg. You know, some of us like to get dressed and put on our hard shoes and hit the streets and protest. I call it begging. Because I don't see nobody else protesting. They just pick up the slack and do what they gotta do. But it's a new day. Black people ain't protesting no more. I think of around the last time we actually really protested hard is when George Floyd got killed. Right now, we just tearing everything up. We just trying to make a living and we gonna do it. Meanwhile, their whole country is falling. And that's what the book of Revelation said. Mystery Babylon is falling. And they can't take it. They can't. It's driving them crazy. Y'all are right out there. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. What is going on? Y'all quiet in the chat today. Normally, y'all be a little active. Y'all cried today. Now, look, I wanna show you something. I want to show you something else, just real quick. This is a real shocker because when they were made from the original people. And the 10% orchestrated white supremacy to teach them and to make them hate something by which they came from. Ain't that something? That is very interesting. Now, check this out. I want you to listen to one of theirs. Now, some people will criticize him and said he hates his own kind. A lot of other people I was reading on, reading what they had to say about him. Man, they was killing him. But listen to what he says. And this is, I'm sorry, this is the truth. I didn't say it, but I do see it. Just listen.
People are extremely ugly. It's just a fact. White supremacists love to push beauty standards that favor white features. But let's be real. White people have historically been some of the ugliest people on earth. From pasty skin prone to wrinkles to historically inbred royal families to the sheer lack.
Hold on. You see what he said, that pasty skin? Because see, when you come from the original, you are a carbon copy. You do not look like the original. You're a lack of, man. See how they call us 3/5 of a human being? Because technically, I'm not going to say 3/5 of a human being, but they are not from the original, man. They're not the original human being. So they lack melanin because you are a copy. So you age different. That's why we could be 100 and something years old. What's the sister name? Mary. What's her name? Mary. What's her name? Mary Gibson, I believe. The sister that played Florence on the Jeffersons. Sister from 227. That sister is 100 and some years old. She look like she's 60. You see that? Now look how they look. You seen Rosie O'Donnell lately? She ain't even nowhere near the sister age, and she looked 10 times older than that because of her skin color, because of her genetic makeup, because of that brown germ I was talking about. It's the weaker germ. But of course, it cannot live without the black germ. They cannot live without us. They will cease to exist. They damn near are. They're about to become the minority. Now, keep listening to him. This guy here, he went off. I ain't gonna lie, he kind of went in.
Of symmetry in many white faces. There's a long, well-documented history of white people being objectively less attractive than other groups. White people wrinkle, sag, and develop skin damage faster than any other racial group. Studies show that white skin ages more rapidly due to lower levels of melanin, leading to sagging, sunspots, and earlier wrinkles.
Lack of melanin.
Often get smoker's lines around their lips by their 30s, even if they don't smoke. Sun exposure damages collagen faster in white skin, which is why white people start to look like leather by middle age. Meanwhile, darker skinned people age like fine wine. Black, Latino, and Asian skin has natural UV protection, preventing rapid aging. This is why black celebrities like Pharrell and Angela Bassett look 30 years younger than their white counterparts. White people constantly mock others for their looks, but they're the only group that needs Botox by 35 to keep their face from falling apart. White European royalty married their cousins for centuries.
Incest.
To some of the most unattractive faces ever recorded. The Habsburg family of Spain and Austria became so inbred that they developed underbites, bulbous noses, and elongated skulls. King Charles II of Spain was so inbred that he couldn't even close his mouth properly. European monarchies kept marrying within their bloodline, leading to genetic disorders and deformed features. Even today, white rural populations have high rates of inbreeding. Studies show that rural white communities in Appalachia and Europe still have significant genetic overlap. The infamous blue Fugates of Kentucky were so inbred that their skin turned blue due to a genetic disorder. Meanwhile, most indigenous African and Asian societies practice genetic diversity through exogamy, marrying outside of close family ties. White people love to claim racial purity, but their obsession with keeping things pure has just led to them looking weird, lumpy, and asymmetrical. Across history, society has viewed white features as undesirable or plain. In ancient times, Africans, Arabs, and Asians were seen as the height of beauty, while Europeans were seen as dull and unattractive. The earliest depictions of white travelers in Asia and Africa mock their pale skin and odd features. Even the Greeks and Romans admired African and Middle Eastern beauty, with many of their paintings and sculptures reflecting non-European ideals. Modern beauty studies show that white features are ranked lower. A global study on facial symmetry found that features associated with non-white populations were considered more attractive. White noses are often too big or too thin, making them look unnatural compared to the balanced features of other groups. White men, in particular, are often ranked as the least attractive group in global dating surveys. White people try to push Eurocentric beauty standards, while history and science prove their features have been considered subpar for centuries. White hair is thin, weak, and ages horribly. White people are more likely to go bald early. White men often start balding in their 20s, while black and Asian men have full hairlines for decades. White hair is prone to split ends and damage, requiring tons of products to keep healthy. Meanwhile, black, indigenous, and Asian hair is naturally thicker, stronger, and healthier. White lips, noses, and eyes are either too extreme or too weak. Thin lips, weak chins, and large, bulbous noses are common features among white Europeans. White people love to mock full lips, but white women spend billions on lip liners to look more ethnic. White eyes age the fastest, often developing crow's feet and deep bags decades before non-white people. White beauty standards have always been inconsistent and hypocritical. They mock black and Latino features and then get surgery to look less white. White skin was historically seen as weak and unhealthy. In many non-European cultures, darker skin was seen as a sign of strength and resilience, while pale skin was seen as a sign of weakness. European aristocrats hid from the sun to avoid getting darker, but by the 20th century, white people started tanning because they realized they looked better with some color. Now, white people damage their skin just to look more ethnic. White people spend billions on tanning beds and fake tan products because their natural skin tone is seen as bland. Meanwhile, people with naturally darker skin don't have to risk skin cancer just to have a warm complexion. White people like to mock darker skin tones, then turn around and do everything they can to look less pale. The most common plastic surgeries among white women are to fix white features. Nose jobs to reduce long or narrow European noses. Lip fillers to get fuller lips like black and Latino women. Butt and hip implants to mimic non-white body types. Meanwhile, non-white women are naturally celebrated for their features. White women have to buy curves, lips, and tans, while black, Latina, and Middle Eastern women naturally have features that white women pay for. Look at early Hollywood actors and you'll see some of the most awkward faces ever. Audrey Hepburn, Bette Davis, and Katharine Hepburn were considered beautiful, despite looking average by today's standards. White male stars like Steve Buscemi, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Adam Driver are proof that white beauty standards are weird. Meanwhile, non-white beauty icons have aged far better. Compare Angela Bassett to Madonna, or Denzel Washington to Brad Pitt. Black and brown stars look decades younger. White actors rely on surgery, tanning, and fillers just to keep up. White beauty standards were created out of insecurity.
Check that out. Now, this is not racism. This is from a Caucasian that said this. This is his people. He knows his culture. Everything I had played just now is from people who know their culture. This is why I took the initiative to start with the book of Genesis. This is why I took the initiative to break down the making, not the creating, because they are not created. They were made from a material that was already created. And that's us. And this is what the lack of melanin is doing. They're losing their white supremacy. This is why they're going mad. You don't see it. They see it. You don't believe me? I tell you what. When you finish with this, go online, Facebook, if you do, and find a white follower that says mega or whatever, and read the comments. Just read it. And you will see they're all saying the same thing. They right now, a lot of them are saying, thank God for Trump. Not all of them. Because you have some whites out there that's not feeling Trump. You have some whites out there that do love some people of color. You have some whites out there that have black daughters and black sons. You have some whites out there who husband and wife are black. Their white supremacy is dying. After 400 years, I will come. Again, he didn't say Jesus. He said, I will come. And now look at them today. They're going crazy. Communicate. Share this video. Yeah, share this video. Communicate, Claim Be Pacific. What's going on, brother? Yeah, it's been a minute. I ain't been on here a week. I had a little episode last week, but you know, like I said, I had a lot of other things going on, but I was cooking this up. I was cooking this up because I watch the news every morning and I hear white folks. And this is why I wanted to bring this to the table to make people understand their culture. I want you to understand their making. I want you to understand who you are. They know who they are. They saying it. I played it for you. They know who they are. They don't like calling themselves Caucasians. You know why? Because you're going to get too smart and start looking up what that word is. It's good to say white. Because see, when you put the term Caucasian, you start to study its origin. And then they go, oh, here we go. Here he go. And then you start waking up. Oh, hey, wait a minute now. They ain't got nothing out there in the Caucasus Mountain but mountains. It's near Russia. They only got 2 months of summer. What the hell is going on? And that's why in Turkey, which is a Muslim country, their crescent is backwards. It's not, notice, all the Islamic countries, their crescent is the same way. They're half moon. But in Turkey, in Europe, the moon is backwards. Why? Because you're not the original man. You're not the original woman. You are our children. Hey, but they don't like that. So I want you to understand why white people are so mad today. They're pissed the hell off. And they voted for Trump. They put him in there so fast. They said, like, get him in there. Hell no, we losing everything. So, I just wanted to bring that to y'all. You know, y'all got anything y'all want to talk about? Anything y'all want to say before I go? Yeah, this was a different scene. I wanted to, I started this stream lab. I wanted to start doing something, a different face. But I'm gonna definitely come back and show my face. I like it better when I can see myself while I'm talking to you instead of this. It did something new, something different, But I like talking about stuff like this because I love to get the message out. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not a preacher, but I was taught by a man of wisdom, a man that the enemy hate, a man that talk like Noble Drew Ali, a man that talk like Minister Louis Farrakhan, a man that talk like Malcolm X, a man that talk like Marcus Garvey. These are the type of people that teaches me. A man like Elijah Muhammad. And I bring all of this to the table. So don't focus on my wrongs if you know what my wrongs is. Focus on your wrongs. And focus on what's going on out there. Don't look at the flaws, listen to the message. And then you do whatever you want with it. Okay? So with that being said, I want to say thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you giving me the time to talk to you in your ears. Like I said, this is the lethal truth. This is why I call the truth that set you free, because those are one of Jesus' favorite sayings. The truth shall set you free. And once you hear the message, it's up to you to do whatever you want with it. So with that being said, y'all have a good night and God bless you. Later.